My deep appreciation of theater history was instilled in me by Tom Empey, a college mentor to me and hundreds of others. While teaching Greek theater terms, he would grab the fabric of his slacks and say, "You see these pants? Euripides Eumenides," making light of content that could be considered rather dry and stuffy while still maintaining respect for the art, which is what I want to do with this podcast. For each episode, I invite a guest from the many paths my theater career has taken me down. I give my guest no idea what we'll be talking about, but they know we're going to find an outrageous story about theater history and perhaps get a better understanding about why we're still doing it after all these years. So welcome to Euripides Eumenides, and I am your host, Aaron Odom.
Apocalypse, apocalypse, I said, why you wanna show up now? Just when the heart of my life was getting good. I'll give you one more chance. Walk on out of the door, yeah. Get your ass to getting where the getting is good.
Good morrow, Eumenidites. This is Aaron Odom from Trident Theater, bringing you another episode of Euripides Eumenides, a theater history podcast. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, whatever the case may be. I want to get to today's episode right away, but first, whoever started listening to the show in Saskatchewan, I salute you. I'll go ahead and use one of the Bard's favorite exclamations, Zwoons! Did you download a lot? Nearly the whole library in an entire day. So keep up the good work, and thanks for finding Euripides Eumenides. Okay, let's get to it. I've been preparing for the live episode that I have coming up at the end of September at the Community College of Denver, which will feature a panel of guests, including Mary E. Kennedy, who played New Fiona in the final season of Shameless. I'm very excited for it, and if you're not in Denver on September 26, 2023, don't worry. I'll be including the audio from that event as its own episode very soon. But between my last episode and the Denver show, I needed to fill a slot. After all, I release an episode every 2 weeks, and I couldn't leave you loyal fans without an episode. So I found the topic for this episode, and it basically wrote itself in like a day and a half. Plus, it gave me a great reason to catch up with my good friend Jenni Reed, who has been on the show several times before. Jenni and I have done a lot of theater work together in the past, and she's an incredible theater history wonk herself, so it wasn't really a surprise to me that she knew this story, but we still managed to have a really great time with it. And friends, I'm going to warn you, as I have done in the past, I may destroy a hero for you today. Okay, I'll quit teasing it and just get on with it. Here's the episode, The Real Rex Harrison. Oh my word.
What?
This is ridiculous. We haven't seen each other forever. And it just picked up like...
Yesterday.
Yeah, I just saw you yesterday. And just, the past several months were just
This one
vomited on the table.
Isn't that what, maid family does?
Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. But Jenni, since you've last been on the show, you have this fantastic new job.
Yes.
With a private school, private like elementary and junior high?
Junior high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we actually added sophomore year this year. So next year we'll add juniors, seniors till we have a full high school.
Wow.
And then we'll just continue that. So I'm kind of, the next couple of years could be really interesting for me as far as like transition and what I'm actually doing.
Cool.
Maybe even not as much classroom. Who knows what that shift's going to look like.
Right.
But right now, I love it. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
For my listeners, I just have to take a little break here because we are live in studio today, in person, and my dog Biscuit is apparently needing some attention still, so you might hear some jangling and heavy breathing, and her tail is an effective whip and whips everything and makes noises. But anyway, so she's a sweetheart and we love her. We love you so much. It's like Fred loves Dino.
Oh, yeah.
But Jenni, you're also running like the drama program.
Yeah.
There.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You don't have to tell me.
No, it's one of my favorite parts about it, actually, because we use it as it's not really a big money-making fundraiser.
Right.
As fundraisers go. But it's kind of become this annual thing.
Yeah.
That we're doing. Last year, the kids got to be on a real stage.
Whoa!
The YO Theater.
Yes.
Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be partnering with them again.
Mm-hmm.
2-night program. And I think it gives the kids a lot more experience and gives them a sense of really what it's like.
Yeah.
How to actually truly understand what theater is like.
Right.
What it takes to build it, not just memorizing lines. You
Right.
know, oh my gosh, how did you memorize all those lines?
There's more to it.
Yeah. So
did you know how I said those lines?
Oh.
Well,
and what we really like to do is every kid who wants to act and participate gets an opportunity.
Nice.
Every kid. This is the first year though that we've split apart and have a tech team who is coordinating the set, all of the design, the costuming, the makeup. They're going to be learning that side of theater this year.
Yeah.
Lighting and sound.
Yeah.
And everything.
That's great.
It's going to be phenomenal for them. And they're so excited. They're already putting together plans and mock-ups. It's so cool to watch them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been great.
See, and I love that too because it identifies those aptitudes in kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give a little shout out.
Yes.
We worked together on a show that I directed called Yankee Tavern.
Yes.
And we recruited a student from the college here, Sammy, who was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Great stage manager. And I found that out about her like a year or two before that. And it was unfortunate because she came from a smaller community where they did have some theaters, just somebody who's like had the vim and vigor to try to keep the program alive. But this kid, I'll just say it, was endowed with, traditional good looks. And everybody's like,
what? She's adorable. You can say it. She's adorable.
How can we capitalize on that? Like they tried to push her into like modeling and pageantry and stuff like that. And she was like, I kind of like it, but she auditioned for me once. And I'm like, you're not comfortable with this, are you? She says, no, not really. I'm like, I need an assistant stage manager. She's like, really? And
she's so good at it.
So well.
So good.
So well. So I'm glad that is being identified at that early age. And it's never been my attitude.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, you don't have to, we're not all cookie cutter.
No.
And students need to understand as they explore and learn things,
right,
that there's a vast array of what you can do.
Yes.
And how you can approach and still be part of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget that because the average person, all they see is what they see
right
on stage. They don't get to understand the work that goes into it.
Oh my God.
As you well know.
I went to college with a girl who was like, I'm not sure what I want to do, and ended up being like a box office manager as a career.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing. They don't realize that these are viable careers.
Yeah.
I mean, for girls or guys or whomever, like makeup and hair.
Oh yeah.
A friend of mine, he was a makeup artist. His first big job was Pearl Harbor.
The movie. The Ben Affleck.
The Ben Affleck, super accurate historical drama.
Michael Bay, make it blow up.
He got into it in high school.
Yeah.
And he's like, you mean I can play with this and this can be an actual career? I don't have to. It's not cosmetology school.
Yeah.
It's something completely different, but still related and people are interested in it. And it's like, why not explore that? Why not look at how you can do those things and what you can do? And what's really fun is all of our staff and faculty are part of it too.
Oh, there we go. That's fun.
Even when they don't want to. And yet they seriously. So they are learning to really appreciate and find even their own niche where they're like, I don't know how, because watching, us pick a play, cast a play, direct a play, learning all that terrifies some people.
Oh, yeah.
But pulling together costumes or looking at set, it's fun.
Yeah.
For them. It's fun for me too.
Yes.
And that is the hardest part for me. My hands are in kind of all the little pots.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, because
kind of overseeing it, directing. Yes. You have to know a little bit about everything. Yeah.
And I focus more on the individual. I think my cohort in crime, I guess you could call her, Amber, she probably does more of the day-to-day direct stage direction.
Right.
I focus more on like character direction.
Yeah.
Individual, like bringing that out, working with
Okay.
kids, getting them. Hers is much more almost like pragmatic and logistic, but we are a really great partnership because we tend to have the same ideas.
I love that.
And work really well off of each other of like, oh, that was good. Or, oh, how would you tweak that? What do you think? What do you see?
Aha. Yes.
Yeah, it truly is a partnership.
But you're working off each other. You're saying,
Yeah.
I don't see this the right way. Maybe I'm not looking at it right.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah.
Yes, I love
it
that.
works great.
Well, I love that there's that air of collaboration.
Yeah.
There's that camaraderie. There's that communal sense of we're all in this together. That's fantastic. Jenni, we're not going to be talking about something like that today.
Great. You're going to drag me down.
Oh, Jenni.
I feel it.
My
My bright-eyed wonderment at the world of theater is going to get pummeled, isn't it?
It might. I told you, you might know this story.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna get away from that. I just still, that's awesome.
Well, we've collaborated so well together.
Yeah.
I mean, and you and I, it's one of our biggest, I think, joys that when we do get to work together.
Yes.
And that, I wish it were more common than it is.
Agreed. Okay.
And on that note.
Well, Jenni, I brought you here for a reason.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Can you think of any actors who had an absolutely pristine image on stage or screen, but had absolutely terrible personality behind the scenes?
A few.
Yes, I mean, we've heard of the divas. Yes, I mean, but who comes to mind first for you?
Well, there's a couple of people, but I think the most recent on my mind is Olivia Wilde.
Oh, gosh, yes, I heard about this.
Yeah.
I didn't really look into it much, though.
Well,
it was about film and stuff.
Yeah, my image of her first and foremost is always from the TV show House.
Okay, yep.
And her role on that, and then Toronto, like, I loved her, and other people that I know, like, and then all of a sudden this, like, kind of dark stuff starts coming.
A little bit of a buzz about...
Yeah.
I'll be so shiny.
Right? And there's some, some older actors of a certain generation, I guess you would say, where they could kind of get away with some more of the misogynistic and creepiness of how they would treat others. I think back in what we would call the glory days of golden Hollywood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Olivia Wilde comes to mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably the most recent one that I would.
Okay. Well, like I said, I can't wait to see your reaction to this. But
it's gonna be great.
In 1956,
Golden Age. Okay.
Broadway powerhouse musical writing team Lerner and Loewe premiered one of the true tentpoles of the canon of musical theater history. The play was My Fair Lady.
Are we gonna talk about Rexy?
A little bit. The following year, it was nominated for 10 Tony Awards and won 6 of them, including Best Direction of a Musical, Best Costume Design, but most often known for its acting talent. And the Tony for Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Musical went to Sir Rex Harrison. In 1964, Sir Rex reprised his role for the film adaptation, which won him the Best Actor Oscar.
Did.
But the road to success was not an easy one.
What? No.
While to the public, Harrison appeared to be a refined gentleman, along with being what is often considered to be one of the greatest actors to ever grace the stage or screen. Behind the scenes, Rex Harrison was as close to a polar opposite of his public persona as a person can get.
Especially when you grow up idolizing a child hero because this is who you see, and then you realize it's like, don't meet your heroes.
Yes. We've said that a lot on this show, like, don't meet your heroes.
But I think that it goes to show that we really like to see shiny things.
I think so, yeah. Now, I'll focus on My Fair Lady for just a bit to set the stage, and then we'll get into some of the better examples of just how much of a complete rat bastard Rex Harrison was.
It's wonderful Julie Andrews.
Now, Now, we're all probably more familiar with Audrey Hepburn as the incorrigible and lovable Eliza Doolittle in the film adaptation of My Fair Lady, but as you were just saying, when the play premiered on Broadway, the part was played by Dame Julie Andrews, who was 19 when she got the role.
Her Broadway debut.
Yeah. Yep. Plus, and remember, this is before Sound of Music or Mary Poppins.
Well, she played Mary Poppins when
Yes.
they did the film.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll get into that a bit later.
I won an Oscar.
Lerner and Loewe were granted the rights to adapt George Bernard Shaw's immensely popular play Pygmalion into a musical.
Yeah.
They got the rights after fellow musical writing team Rodgers and Hammerstein couldn't crack it.
Well, no.
They,
I mean, that makes actually some sense. I mean, it really, really does. It's not in the real house.
No, they were just like, can't be done. Can't be done. And so the rights went to, you guys want to try it? And it actually got Lerner and Loewe back together.
Really? That I did not know.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Yay, My Fair Lady.
Now, we all kind of know the story of the play, but I'll kind of hit the highlights. Dr. Henry Higgins believes that he can pass off a common street girl as a duchess simply by teaching her phonetics and how to use the English language properly. And through many trials and tribulations, he eventually does. And that's Pygmalion, right?
Correct.
With some creative license, Lerner and Loewe managed to not only adapt the source material into a musical, but they also managed to make it a love story as well. Something George Bernard Shaw was probably rolling over in his grave about.
Yeah, so not the point. I remember the first time I read Pygmalion after seeing My Fair Lady and going, oh.
But why don't they get to know?
Well, but do they?
No, because even in the
they done right.
Because even in the notes it says Eliza and Freddie got married.
Yes. So yeah, and all she does is she returns to a place that she is now finding as home.
Yeah.
It's not really a love story.
No.
It's not.
No.
And
Shaw didn't write a lot of those.
Well, no.
No.
Not in his wheelhouse.
But the fact that they managed to turn this incredibly popular play into a musical was enough to convince veteran star of stage and screen Rex Harrison to play the role of Henry Higgins, which he had done plenty of times before in productions of Pygmalion. The problem was, he'd never sung on stage before.
Because he can't.
So Alan Lerner managed to write lyrics that allowed Harrison to basically sing his parts, which you see in the movie.
Correct.
Just as long as he could keep rhythm, which he did.
And intonation.
Problem solved, yes. And it's all about phonetics
and intonation.
and getting things right. I actually just watched, I've grown accustomed to her face, and I just love his damn.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep.
At acting.
Uh-huh. As you were saying, however, more problems arose. First, Rex Harrison was not quite pleased with the suggestion for the original title.
No.
The musical was originally going to be called either Eliza or Lady Eliza, but that annoyed Harrison greatly.
Well, because it made him second fiddle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He argued, since Lerner and Loewe had come directly to him to plead for him to make their musical work, he was the draw. So by naming their show after the female lead, well, that wasn't just an insult, wasn't it? He threatened to leave the project.
Well, yes, because of course they would never be able to do it without him.
Yeah, precisely. And I don't think he ever intended to leave.
He knew power.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Whether imagined or real, he knew his power.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he knew that someone else would probably become a star by playing that part. So he was playing his cards pretty well, actually. I mean, it's, okay, shady. But, yeah, okay, you wanted the part. You wanted it.
I mean, we all do stuff like that to get what we want. Mm-hmm. I mean, we really do. I mean,
yes.
That, to me, is not the part that we need to flay open.
No. In any case, Lerner and Loewe went through several different titles, finally landing on My Fair Lady, which could be a play on words based on Eliza's Cockney accent. You know, she was supposed to be from Mayfair, I think.
Right, yes.
Fair Lady. You know, could be that. But it was more to please their temperamental star, as the play now sounds that it's based upon the perspective of Henry Higgins.
Yes.
Plus, it sounds possessive, and I'm sure Rex enjoyed that. But
oh, yeah.
before I go further, If you're not already seeing a pattern of egotism from Rex Harrison, let me just go ahead and drop a couple more little bits of trivia that suggest he believes he is a gift to this planet.
No, more than a gift.
Oh, yes.
More than a gift.
Yes. I'm not sure what to call that. A blessing. From an early age, his mother took him to a theater to see a play, and he was absolutely hooked, convinced he would be a huge actor someday. He was born with the name Reginald Carey Harrison, but sometime in primary school, he discovered that the Latin word rex actually means king, and thus chose it for his stage name as an association with kingliness.
Upon the grandness of this birthing into the world.
But if you look this up, anytime he's ever worked with anyone, virtually everyone hated him.
Oh, I know.
Mainly because he treated everyone besides himself as less than.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Beneath.
Oh, far.
Far beneath.
Far beneath.
They have not put in the time. They do not have the dedication. They do not have the knowledge or the brain power or the giftedness.
Yes.
That
frankly, they're not me. That's all you need to know.
Oh, minion of mine.
Here's a final story before we get back to My Fair Lady. It's a quote from Elizabeth Harrison, one of his ex-wives.
One of. Which
I'll get into later. Quote, he was the kind of man who would send back the wine not just in restaurants, but in his own home. Uh-huh. I know I have it in my cellar, but how dare you serve it to me?
This displeases me greatly. I'm surprised he didn't talk like in the royal we. We are displeased.
You just asked for your slippers. I know. We know. God. Okay, let's get back to his issues with My Fair Lady.
His issues or our issues with him?
We'll probably have a lot. Okay. The biggest problem grew with Harrison's dissatisfaction in his leading lady. Not just Julie Andrews herself, but the fact that he was possibly being overshadowed by her when he knew he was the draw, and that was appalling.
And yet, she had been singing in front of royalty since, what, 8 or 12?
Yes. Andrew stated that upon first meeting Rex, he was cordial, but it all soon fell apart. Like I said earlier, Julie Andrews was 19 when she got the part.
He was in his 40s or close to 50?
Born in 1908, so like closer to 50.
50s, yeah. Okay, yeah, close to 50.
And she was 20 when it first premiered in 1956. She had basically been used to a vaudeville environment before that and wasn't quite prepared for the pace of the rehearsals in a Broadway setting. Yeah. The further she fell behind, the more Harrison would become annoyed with her. It got so bad that after one Friday rehearsal, Rex stopped the rehearsal and stomped out of the theater, shouting as he reached the door, "If that bitch is here on Monday, I'm quitting the show."
Yeah. First time I ever heard that story, read actually, that story, I was like,
ooh.
Who dares to fame the lovely and talented gift to us all that is Julie Andrews?
Julie Andrews. But nobody knew that then. I mean, she had some fame. I'll give it that.
True. I don't care.
Yeah. And actually, I've actually read it in other places, and instead of the B word, it was the C word.
I heard that too. Yep. Actually, it's not.
Yep.
He was vile. The funniest part, though, is that she also admits to having an absolute sailor mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
that wasn't the point.
Not in a vicious way.
No.
To people, not in a harmful.
Oh no,
way. No.
In like.
Yeah.
She has this beautiful accent, and then
Yeah, she flubs up on a line and drops
blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So this stomping out of the theater caused director Moss Hart to send literally everyone but Julie Andrews away. And over the course of the weekend, he put her through the gauntlet of acting training. Andrews has said that it was an incredibly demanding and difficult time. They went through every scene, picked it apart with a fine-tooth comb.
She went to school.
Yeah.
She literally went to acting school, like an intensive.
Well, and not just acting school, but acting school to play Eliza Doolittle. This is what, okay. Yeah. She said it was often incredibly demanding and difficult, often to the point of breaking her. But she also says it was the best acting lesson she ever got.
It turned her career probably around.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that he was such a big fat baby.
Yeah.
About her.
I saw several words come from your
Petulant.
lips.
He was petulant.
He was boorish.
Oh, we don't get to use that word very
know,
often.
right?
That's great. Okay.
Well, in any case, Harrison returned and didn't quit. He didn't quit.
He wasn't gonna. Again. We may be displeased, but we do want our money.
Well, he didn't quit the show that time. He almost did when the show was in previews in New Haven.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
You know this story?
This is a good one.
Uh-huh.
Listen up, people.
Up to that point, they'd only rehearsed the music with the piano.
Yeah.
When an entire orchestra was added, it completely threw him.
Couldn't get rid. Didn't know when to come in.
What is this SITS probe you're talking about? So he kept messing up. They'd have to start over. He was so embarrassed that he stopped the rehearsal and stomped off to his dressing room and locked the door. So many attempts were made to coax him out again, and he just kept saying, I can't do it. I may never do it. Finally.
His ego's too big to take that kind of a hit.
Oh my God.
I can't.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I honestly, when you are that egocentric, like I don't know how you would handle. I mean, you don't obviously.
Not well.
Obviously.
So finally, Moss Hart convinced everyone to leave again, except Julie Andrews and the orchestra. He went to Harrison's door to tell him that no one else was around. He was convinced to come out.
Oh my.
And he gradually got more confident since he wouldn't be seen as someone who couldn't handle the part.
Here, kitty.
That's that scene from Roxanne where like the whole fire brigade is trying to get the cat out of the tree.
Yes.
And then Steve Martin comes out, can of cat food.
Cat food.
With the handheld.
Shink, shink.
Come on, Kitty. Just comes right down. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Uh-huh. When the show premiered and went through its run, Harrison wanted only to hear praise about his performance and became increasingly agitated and hostile as Julie Andrews' star rose and rose.
She's freaking Julie Andrews. How did he not see that coming?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It got to the point where she could not be within eyesight when he sang, I've grown accustomed to her face. Because he couldn't think about her face when he was singing that song.
Oh my God. Are you? Because he was thinking about our face. I mean, wow. I mean, the.
Yeah. And keep in mind, it wasn't just her. This is happening all
Oh,
at
I
the same
know.
time.
But it's just appalling.
Yep. And he's just being a jerk to everybody. But everybody's like, if we do the wrong thing, he may leave.
And we're screwed.
And we're out of work.
That to me is the sad part of people like that. Mm-hmm. Because they do get far.
Right.
And they do have talent.
Yeah.
But everybody becomes this fear-obsessed, we can't do anything wrong because it affects us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've heard it plenty of times before. I mean, my episode about Randy Quaid and Lone Star Love and how appalling he was to everybody. And everybody's like, we kind of got to put up with it because there's a lot riding on this. And, we're hoping to go to Broadway and launch for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are some that say, though, that if Rex Harrison would have left that show for any one of his little piddly reasons, that nobody else could have played it as well as he did. So it's like
there is a lot to that because of, our best example is because we have it on film.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We honestly can look at it and see that it's one of the few that they haven't tried to remake.
No.
It did just have a huge Broadway run.
Right.
With lots of Eliza Doolittles.
But that's the nature of that game, though, right now, too, is, we'll play this thing, and if somebody gets tired with it, then who's going to be the next one, Yeah. We've talked about Lip Shop on this show a lot, and the off-Broadway run is still running.
I know.
And
Chicago.
Yep. Chicago. Yeah. Anyway, this terrible atmosphere created by Harrison only continued when the musical was adapted for film in 1964. But standing in his way would not be Julie Andrews this time.
Nope.
So many of the original crew of the Broadway musical wanted Andrews to return, but it would not be so. Producers determined that she wasn't a big enough star.
She wasn't. She didn't have a draw. She had done movies. Nobody knew who she was. Right. She was almost too British.
Mm-hmm.
I think
yep.
Some of that, it's like nobody knew who she was.
Well, she'd only done one film by 1964, and it was as a child doing voiceover work in an animated movie.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if producers also didn't want a repeat of Harrison's behavior during the Broadway run.
There had to be that. I mean, they had to have that in the back of their mind.
They're like, if we get somebody else,
known as an excuse.
No.
And that's the public excuse that you can use, but it had to affect it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
But how did they not see it repeating?
Oh, well, I don't know. Audrey Hepburn, as we know, was chosen, as she was a pretty hot commodity by then. She had a long list of film credits, including an Oscar, before her, big, huge role in Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961.
Which is so good.
Glamorous, and
Wayfish.
And I think there wasn't anybody who had any bad blood against Audrey Hepburn.
No, you never hear. That's one you don't hear anything bad about.
And Harrison worked well with her on screen, but was just as indignant about why anyone was making a fuss over the girl in this play.
Probably didn't help that she might have been a bigger star, especially in America.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
He kept demanding that the story was about Higgins' transformation as well.
Higgins doesn't transform.
No. He gets to the end of the play and goes, I miss her.
And then she gets his slippers.
Yep.
Never mind. Sure. I'm not going to say, I don't want to say it, but I'm...
But one thing that seemed to stick in Rex's craw about Hepburn getting the role was that she couldn't sing it as well.
I was waiting for that.
She sang all right for filming, but in post-production, all of her songs were dubbed in by singer Marnie Nixon.
Marnie Nixon was the dub singer. She did Natalie Wood.
Yep.
And yeah.
And this is something that perpetually aggravated Audrey Hepburn.
She was guaranteed in her contract.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, she was told, and she's got a lovely voice, but Eliza Doolittle's voice is hard. That's a hard
part to sing.
It is a soprano, but it is also a belter. Mm-hmm. It is hard. That's a hard, plus with an accent and all of the things that you have to do. It's very, very difficult. She has a lovely voice. When she sings Moon River, I just love it.
Oh, yeah.
But no, she doesn't know how. I mean, that's a hard. You have to be a trained singer to pull that off. You really do.
Yeah, and like you were saying, singing in an accent. Some people will think that sounds easy. No, it's not. It's not.
No. Her opening song in that Cockney.
Oh my God.
And you can't have an actress who is Cockney because then she can't do anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Rex, though,
seemed
to present his haughtiness in a new, more subtle direction with Hepburn. In interviews,
he's learning subtlety?
Oh, listen to this.
Oh, God.
It's a quote from an interview. I'm going to try to do my Rex Harrison here. I'd done the show for so long in the theatre with Julie that any new leading lady was going to be a problem. Audrey also had to weather a great deal of adverse press publicity about how much she was being paid, for most of the press had sided with Julie and had wanted Julie to get the part.
Ooh, that's digging, man. Wow, that's passive-aggressive.
Oh, check this next one out. I love this next one. Audrey is a very sensitive person and could not fail to feel all this. It quickly leaked to the press that she was being dubbed and wasn't really singing the part she'd wrested from Julie and for which she was being so highly paid. End quote.
I'd rather just storm off and call me an name.
Now, it was also very public knowledge that Hepburn was being paid $1 million for the part in 1964, compared to Rex's $250,000.
Well, that I didn't know. That I didn't know. That's gonna piss him off.
Which is why he said it in the press.
Because she's the bigger star.
Yes.
Think about it. I'm trying to think about the movie. What movies he had done, but prior to that, were really popular.
I'm gonna go over some of them, Jenny. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
okay.
And
I know some later.
He had a string of them. It was My Fair Lady that was the big thing for him.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yeah.
In any case, the film My Fair Lady went on to win several Oscars, including Best Picture, and Rex Harrison won the Oscar for Best Actor. It was presented to him by Audrey Hepburn.
Who had won Best Actress
No.
the prior year?
Oh, no, she had already won.
Year.
Yeah.
No, she won for Roman Holiday.
Yes, Roman Holiday. That's it. That's the one she won before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hepburn, however, was not nominated that year at all.
Nope.
The Oscar for Best Actress went to Julie Andrews for playing Mary Poppins. In her acceptance speech, she finished up by saying this: "Finally, my thanks to a man who made a wonderful movie and who has made all of this possible in the first place, Mr. Jack Warner," the producer who didn't believe she was famous enough to play Eliza Doolittle.
And I love that about her, because that right there in a nutshell epitomizes who she is and just how much I adore her, and also then foreshadows the beautiful friendship between her and Carol Burnett, and how funny Julie is and understands the world. And
I guess Jack Warner was laughing his head off as she said it.
Funny.
It is funny.
It's hilarious.
It is funny
and true.
He wasn't going to sit there and stew about it.
No, it's over and done with anyway.
He also made a ton of money that year.
Well, yeah.
Rex the King indeed. Looking back on it now, I can't help but see that chip on his shoulder in about every image I can think of. Ugh. But Eumenidites, what you've heard up to this point couldn't possibly prepare you for how Rex treated the many women in his love life. That's coming up. But while we're here, I'll encourage you to subscribe, follow, check out Instagram profiles for both Trident Theater and Euripides Eumenides, send me a message at trident@tridenttheater.com, or, rate and review wherever you're listening. It really does help the show. Okay, but let's get back to Jenni Reed and the conclusion of the real Rex Harrison. Okay, so that's his demeanor when he's doing a show and how he treats his coworkers.
That's what he was willing for the public to see and know about.
God. Oh my God,
and,
Jenny.
That's what I'm saying. That's actually what he was willing to be out there. And he had an ego and big enough that he still closed himself off to the public.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I already, I know. Yeah.
So, if we really want to know just what kind of a person Rex Harrison was, I would suggest we take a look at his love life.
Lives.
And I'm gonna have to kind of go rapid fire here because there's quite a bit of ground to cover.
It's like a Band-Aid, and we just gotta spitfire.
As a youth, Harrison was determined to be a great actor and was convinced he could do so with no help. Indeed, the man never took any acting lessons throughout his entire career. Didn't go to school, didn't go to any studios, nothing. He was just convinced he could do it.
Well, to his credit, we are better than Rex.
True.
Okay, so to his credit, to his credit, he was a student of the craft,
right?
In his mind,
right?
Of his own making, and I think that is evident in his performances. He truly was a student. He learned.
He learned by observation.
But why would he demean himself to having others shape the gift that he is?
Well, when you do that, though, you have to.
Sorry.
Nope, you're right.
Yeah.
He got into his first play at the age of 16, and upon graduating high school, went to work in the theater immediately in Liverpool. By 1930, he had moved to the West End and was able to be cast quite regularly. Honestly, great voice.
Yes.
Good look.
Great presence.
And
for sure.
And his erudition was so perfect for Henry Higgins, but it fit all of his other roles as well.
Well, and that was very popular.
Absolutely.
'Twas the thing.
However, throughout these early years on his own, he gained quite a reputation for being a voracious womanizer.
Voracious?
Voracious. I couldn't come up with much of a stronger word.
Yeah.
I think it was...
predatory?
He had a healthy appetite.
Randy.
Oh, there it is. However, in 1936, one woman seemed to convince him of the value of monogamy. For a moment. Amidst the many women who caught his eye was Ethel Marjorie Noel Colette Thomas, but she went by Noel. Yes, all those names, probably because she came from a family of wealthy aristocrats.
That probably was more appealing than the
I
monogamy.
think it was. She was cute, though. She was really
okay,
cute.
okay.
I was going to get all these pictures, too.
Yeah,
Didn't
fine.
get them. This was also something that Rex found very attractive about her, the upper status. But she was a model. So there's that, too.
There's that.
I'm going to blow right through this one because after Noel, the things Rex Harrison did in his love life will pale in comparison to this one.
Yeah, okay.
In any case, Noel's father did not approve of her daughter dating an actor. He also probably didn't approve of Rex getting her pregnant out of wedlock and then proposing marriage.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
But then, nonetheless, the two married in January 1934, and their son, Noel Harrison, was born later that month.
Yes.
He also became an actor.
He did.
And an Olympic skier, I guess. When World War II kicked off in 1939, Noel went to the front lines to work for the Red Cross. While she was away, Rex met fellow actor Lily Palmer.
While she was away, the boys will play.
Oh, my bed is empty.
I'm cold.
So he met Lily Palmer, and Palmer was actually a German-Jewish refugee who had left Germany years before the war broke out because she kind of saw the writing on the wall. In any case, Rex fell head over heels for her and left his wife in 1940. They separated. Rex and Lily fancied themselves as the new glamour couple in the acting world, and they've appeared in several plays and films together, often playing the romantic leads opposite one another.
Yes.
And people liked that.
Yeah.
They're like, they work really well.
They did a lot with that.
Oh, and by the way, Rex and Noel's divorce was finalized in 1942.
Took 2 years? Jeez.
2 years after. Rex and Lily then married less than a year later in 1943. Got pregnant, and had a boy they named Carrie in 1944. And as you may recall, Carrie is Rex's middle name.
Oh, yeah. Right. King. Right.
Now, during the war, Rex didn't act too much. He considered himself a patriot and wanted to assist in the war effort. But most of the vision in his left eye had been taken by a really nasty bout of measles when he was a kid. So he couldn't fight or fly planes or drive boats. But he could coordinate attacks from bunkers, and that's what he did for most of the war. He often says he didn't miss acting a bit during his RAF days.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that something? Just didn't...
He actually found purpose for a little while.
Yeah,
outside of his grandness.
And you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. However, after the war, Rex returned to acting, and for his performance in a small, scandalous film called The Rake's Progress, in which he starred opposite his wife, Lily Palmer, Rex caught the attention of a studio head from 20th Century Fox. At the same time, for the same movie, Lily caught the attention of an executive from Warner Brothers, and both of them were offered multi-picture deals from their respective studios for that one film.
Wow.
So goodbye, New York. Hello, Hollywood.
Huh.
Yeah. Upon arriving in Hollywood,
oh no,
Rex established his reputation as a difficult actor who didn't like to take direction. So much so that his first director tried to have his contract with 20th Century Fox terminated. Didn't happen. And Rex's second picture for the studio brought in a ton of cash and good reviews. So now he's becoming a genuine movie star.
Therefore, he's a moneymaker.
Yeah,
Deal
we'll
with
put
it.
up with the bad behavior. Mm-hmm. But that did go to his head. No.
I'm surprised.
And he really enjoyed being a major name in Hollywood, spending most of his time away from home and his wife and child at parties and the like. Somewhere in this playful lifestyle, Rex came across a young new actor, Carol Landis.
Yes. This
Who
is the
also, this is
okay, go,
just the only one.
Oh, I know, but okay.
Carol Landis, who also had a contract with 20th Century Fox, and also was shooting near Rex quite often. However, she also had a bit of a reputation. Rex first met her in 1947 when he was 39 and she was 28. By that time, she had just gotten out of her fourth marriage.
Oh my God, at 28?
At 28. I think Liz Taylor had a beat. I think she was on like 4 or 5 by that time. Anyway, she just got out of her fourth marriage and was well known for her violent mood swings, in which she would often threaten to hurt herself if she didn't get her way, long bouts of depression, and suicidal ideations. But she sure was cute.
Yeah. I mean, cute. Trump's crazy.
Absolutely. And of course, Rex and Carol started an affair.
Oh, wow.
Now, there was something of an unwritten rule in Hollywood that studios knew about the lurid lives of their stars, but wanted to make sure that they kept their affairs private because they didn't want the public thinking,
Oh, no.
they're
The
good.
PR machine was amazing.
Yeah, they're all good, wholesome family people, and
That's why we didn't know about, Rock Hudson and everybody before. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
He died of AIDS? Did he get it in a pool?
Yeah.
Rex didn't care about any of those rules, though.
Why would he?
Rex and Carol did almost nothing to hide their affair, which annoyed 20th Century Fox head Daryl Zanuck. Zanuck had also briefly dated Carol, but when Rex and Carol basically flaunted their relationship, Zanuck pretty much removed the prospect of Carol ever being a leading lady, only casting her in low-budget movies for the studio from then on.
Yeah.
And of course, they wouldn't have done that to Rex. He carried on as usual.
Well, that's not going to help deflate any ego issues.
Well, it's the woman's fault.
Yeah.
We can punish the woman.
Well, yeah.
Ugh. I don't feel that way.
I know.
I'm clarifying for my audience.
Asterisk moment here. Side note. Aaron doesn't do that.
No. However, this degrading of her status started Carol's downward spiral.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very, very, very sad.
Yeah, and I do not mean to make light of this. This is actually a really dark part of this story.
I mean, she created issues on her own already.
Yes.
But this exacerbated a mental break down. Like, I have never seen a shattering
oh my God.
of a human being
no.
like hers.
And when this happened, she was tired of sharing her man and began to demand that Rex leave his wife and child for her. He blatantly refused.
Yeah.
Frankly, Lily was his wife, and he wasn't going to give her up. Nonetheless, they kept up their very public affair. In 1948, Carol hosted a 4th of July party at her place. Rex ghosted it. Never showed up. But he did show up for dinner that night once everyone else had left. During the dinner, the subject of Rex leaving Lily for Carol came up again, which exploded into a huge fight just as it had many times before. Rex left in a huff, basically declaring that he would never be leaving his wife. The next day, Rex was to meet Carol for lunch, but she never showed up. He drove to her home, and with the assistance of her maid, Rex Harrison found Carol's body on the bathroom floor. Sometime after the fight, Carol had overdosed on barbiturates, but not before delivering all of her belongings that reminded her of Rex to her friend's house with a suicide note. And for several hours, Rex called no one.
Yeah.
He spent several hours driving back and forth between his house and hers, which was confirmed by witnesses. Finally, he eventually called a doctor and the police. And here's a quote I found from a blog. When the police arrived, he insisted he was just friends with Carol. According to some sources, Landis left 2 suicide notes, one for her mother and the second for Harrison, who instructed his lawyers to destroy it.
Yeah.
During a coroner's inquest, Harrison denied knowing any motive for her suicide and of the existence of a second suicide note.
Well, why would he? Because it would tarnish what he is putting together. And even though he had this horrible behavior that he knew was horrible, he still had an image to uphold and to polish.
I just...
It's appalling.
Oh.
It's absolutely appalling.
And to this day, no one knows the involvement of Rex Harrison in the death of Carol Landis. Her family still cries foul play to this day.
Well, there's been the speculation is whether or not she was dead when he found her.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And his allowing for her to expire.
Right.
Or helping it along even.
Right. And
as far as some people. Yeah. I mean, there has been that push as far as like, how far did he go? Did he just hands off and just let hope nature took its course?
Yeah, and stare at her while she was... Oh, yeah.
Either way, it's horrible.
Uh-huh.
It's horrible.
Well...
but the problem was gone.
Unfortunately for Rex, there was no way to hide from this scandal, and his contract with 20th Century Fox was terminated. But he was still married to Lily Palmer, who knew everything. She even attended Carol's funeral with him. In any event, he was more or less out in Hollywood for the time being, so he and Lily chose to move back to New York City to try to pick up their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it
Here
comes.
come the next ones.
Here it comes.
Rex's career wasn't completely over, though.
Nope.
In 1955, he was able to be cast in a film called The Constant Husband, about a man who has 6 wives. One of the wives
Forgot about that film.
was played by a young woman named Kay Kendall. By then, Rex was 47, Kay was 28.
I
And
see a
guess what?
pattern.
Guess what? They had an affair. After all, the movie was filmed in London, and he and Lily had separated sometime earlier, so still not sure if they could continue on. So why not? Ugh. I'm sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
You should have.
Kay Kendall, as it turns out, was not in good health at all. Upon visiting a doctor a few times, the doctor confided in Harrison that Kay was suffering from a rare form of leukemia, and she may die in 2 weeks or 2 years. We don't know.
We don't know. She's dying, but you know.
You want to know what Rex did about this?
No, don't. No, okay, well, tell that. You don't.
Yeah.
Ah.
He told Kay nothing other than she did have some form of iron deficiency. Want to know who he told? He told his estranged wife, Lily. Want to know what Lily told him? She told him that she would divorce him so he could marry Kay right away and give her all the happiness he could for her remaining years.
Again, I would also like to point out, how does he marry good women? Honestly,
I don't
to God,
get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Every time I hear this stuff, I'm like, how in the world did he con them? I mean, honestly.
Well, he was Rex Harrison.
An accent only gets you so far.
Not accepting that as a response.
No, sorry.
So you know what? That's exactly what happened. Lily agreed to a divorce settlement in 1957 and even offered Rex the opportunity to rekindle after Kay would eventually die. Rex and Kay married a few months later, and Rex continued to actually be a loving and devoted husband to Kay for her 2 remaining years.
Yep.
Kay died in 1959.
It's the only relationship that, from what we can probably tell and what I've even looked at, is the only quote-unquote good marriage that he, from his end, his actions were good.
Yep.
Ish.
So let me put this all in perspective. Rex and Kay meet in 1955, while Rex and Lily were still married but separated. 1956, that's My Fair Lady on Broadway.
Correct. 1957,
Lily agrees to a divorce, while Rex and Kay are still publicly a couple. 1959, Kay succumbs to her illness. This happens in 4 years.
It's the biggest 4 years of career triumph and crazy relationship, in some ways, triumph.
Yep. Yeah. In 1973, playwright Terence Rattigan wrote the play In Praise of Love, mainly inspired by Rex and Kay's last 2 years together.
Correct.
Rex played the character inspired by himself when it premiered. It didn't go well.
No. He can't play himself. He can play a reflection.
Right.
As we have learned.
Plus, apparently, shortly after Kay's death, this is great. All of you who are looking for a little bit of redemption, here it comes. Shortly after Kay's death, Rex tried to get back with Lily. But in 1957, the same year she divorced Rex, she married Carlos Thompson, an actor from Argentina.
You go, Lily! You go, girl! Nice!
Okay, so since we are kind of running out of time here, I'm just going to give you some highlights of the next 4 marriages. Jesus.
It's horrible.
In 1961, he met and fell for British actor Rachel Roberts after appearing together in a play. They were married in 1962. Their marriage was plagued by alcoholism from them both, and Rachel had suffered from severe depression, not to mention that she felt completely isolated being the wife of a huge star in Hollywood, which was completely foreign to her. She hardly had any time to work on a career of her own, and all of these elements combined resulted in many explosive public fights between the two.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
But remember, Rex's image in the minds of the American public was pretty solid. The film adaptation of My Fair Lady premiered in 1964, and everyone just loved him, despite anything he'd done in the past.
We can write that off. It's fine.
Yeah. Or in his present. Dr. Dolittle followed in 1967, which just enhanced his image.
Yes, the lovable Dr. Dolittle.
Yes. Here's a funny thing that I found in my research. He was very much annoyed with some of the sheep when he would have to stand in the fields. And for all of his nasty behavior, he got peed on a lot by the sheep. Karma before death.
I think he got a little comeuppance
Yes.
there.
Rex attempted to make things better with Rachel Roberts by starring opposite her in the 1968 film A Flea in Her Ear.
That's a title.
Uh-huh. But by 1971, he had had enough. A divorce was granted, and Rex immediately started a relationship with Rachel's good friend, Elizabeth Reese Williams. Rachel Roberts disappeared from Hollywood to escape the embarrassment.
I don't blame her. I really don't. I mean, no.
But she was very disturbed.
Yes.
Like, she was a very tortured soul.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, whereas some people have been able to kind of overcome that was not going to happen. No. Rex married Elizabeth in 1971 and soon found himself the stepfather of 3 sons who Elizabeth had had with her prior husband, actor Richard Harris.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
He's the evil stepfather to the Harris boys?
Yes.
For how long?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Let me see. Rex divorced Elizabeth in 1975.
Oh, so 4 years.
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. But apparently he wasn't quite finished yet. He began a relationship in 1977 at age 69 with a woman named Mercia Tinker, who was 39 at the time. They married in 1978 and remained married until Rex died from pancreatic cancer in 1990. I hear it was quick and painful.
I was going to open you. Long, quick and painful. That's okay.
When he died, his children took some of his ashes and spread them on the grave of Lily Palmer, who had died in 1986.
Yeah.
But I have just a couple more stories about Rex.
Oh, only a couple? Okay.
After her divorce from Rex in 1971, Rachel Roberts couldn't seem to get over it. She got a number of roles on stage that drew great critical praise, but challenged her mental health. Like, she kept getting cast as a woman who was plagued with mental health issues.
That's not good for somebody who had...
And she was just trying to get past it and find something new.
But she couldn't.
No. She also had a number of incidents of public intoxication, including an appearance on a talk show in which she was completely out of control. But in 1980, she tried to rekindle her love with Rex. He denied it implicitly.
Oh, dear.
Because he was already married.
Yeah, but...
He'd find the final love of his life.
Well, track record would have implicated for her, especially in her broken mind, that it's possible.
Yeah.
And that he could fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel Roberts died of a barbiturate overdose that same year, right after calling Rex to say goodbye.
The power he had over their lives is shocking.
Yeah.
And disheartening. I mean, disheartening.
But you know what? I don't want to leave this episode on a total downer.
Okay, good. Thanks.
So I'll tell a fun story in which we can all laugh at the expense of Rex Harrison. In interviews through the years, many stars who are known to speak very kindly of people they've worked with, almost no one could say anything kind about Rex Harrison, including his co-star in My Fair Lady, Stanley Holloway, who played Freddie. When My Fair Lady played on the West End at Drury Lane in 1958, most of the original Broadway cast went along with it. Mm-hmm. After one performance, Rex exited the stage door and seemed annoyed that there were autograph seekers between him and his ride. Plus, it was raining. So he quickly tried to push past all these people to where his driver was waiting. One of these people was a kind little old woman. Just wanted to get the autograph of the star who she adored on stage as Henry Higgins. She loved him. Completely offended by being shoved aside, this old woman rapped Rex on the shoulder with her cane, like whacked him.
Yes!
He stopped in his tracks, and before he could do anything, Stanley Holloway, who had just come out of the stage door and had seen the whole incident, bellowed this little play on a popular phrase with his big voice over the crowd. Rex, stop! Stop! Rex, tonight you've made theater history. No, you've made world history. Yes, tonight, thanks to your rudeness, for the first time in the whole of recorded history, the fan has hit the shit.
Yes! That is the best line ever. Stanley, I think we can give you 3 cheers for having the line we always wish we can when we see somebody who needs a line like that and can't come up with it.
I should have said that.
Right? Well done, Stanley.
And that's my story of the real Rex Harrison.
Oh, I don't even know if we actually truly, to be honest, know the real king.
Well, there is so much, like,
Like, I know.
You know, I'm going to go back to Carol Landis. Her
Oh.
family for years, you can go to their website.
Yeah.
And
To this day.
they're still going, no, we're sure he had something to do with it. And he's never said what his involvement might have been. And truth be told,
It could have been nothing.
Could have been completely innocent.
Yeah.
Because he was so standoffish to people. He didn't want to give of himself to anybody.
No.
They should be giving themselves to him.
Right.
So when he didn't show up to her party, he's like, yeah, okay, I don't need to go there and be embarrassed because she's just going to pick a fight with me. And, well,
Yeah.
okay. I'll go see her and possibly get something after dinner.
Right.
Hint, hint. But then she started a fight. No, I'm going home.
And her threats are empty to him.
Yes.
Her,
I'm going to kill myself. All right, I'll see you at lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to believe any of that.
Yeah.
He's never going to take stock in that because it doesn't affect him.
No.
But it deeply affected both her and later Rachel.
That whole story about Rachel, like, obviously, it sounds to me like he went for looks first. I mean, I looked at all of these women.
They are not ugly.
No, they're all, you know, and but they're all different too. I think
was Lily the redhead?
I don't remember. I think she had more darker hair. I think she was brunette.
One of them was like he ran the gamut.
Yep.
He didn't have a type.
No. Oh, he had a type. Girls who would fall at his feet who are good looking.
Yes.
I mean, Rex Harrison.
Worship.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he looked for. Worship. He was their savior.
Yeah.
Honestly, but the problem with especially Carol and Rachel is that's how they saw him.
Yeah.
That is how they saw him.
Well, maybe you know, there are those stories where he was just a terrible womanizer. So he's running through them.
Oh yeah.
And he's probably only picking up on it when they go, "You're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, Rex." He's like, "Well, that's
yes.
basis for a healthy
solid
relationship."
Plus, he gets older.
Oh yeah.
They don't get older.
Yeah.
But it's still that wide-eyed worship.
Yeah.
Because women who are of a certain age see more, know more, experience more.
Yep.
And don't put up with more.
Well, and at 69, he probably couldn't get anybody under 30 again. So he got this woman, Mercia.
Yeah.
Only thing I could find out about her was she was from Singapore. And, well, she was a Singapore native.
Interesting.
Yep. But she was really good looking.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
gorgeous, fantastic, gorgeous hair with a great jawline.
Oh, I bet she was beautiful.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, that's the thing about Rex is that he carried himself like the leading man in any woman's life, in any woman's life.
Right. And not only that, like that nothing was affecting him whatsoever.
No.
Because it couldn't. Everything was below him.
Yes.
I know that there are still people out there like that today. I know that there are people who are 100% demanding and they are really difficult to work with, but everybody puts up with it. On the other hand, I do appreciate seeing things like,
there is that, yeah.
You know, I think it was just this last week, there was this thing about Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
And I didn't read
and the toxic workplace or whatever.
Yep. Now, those stories I do have to take with a grain of salt. I'm like, that's an incredibly demanding environment. You have to have a fresh thing every single week.
And you have to have standards.
Yep.
And what is the difference between being demanding and having higher standards?
Right.
And when does it cross the line?
Right. And on the other side of that coin, you go, all of those people legitimately felt something. All of those people...
Feelings are valid.
Right.
100%.
And I do appreciate, to a degree, and I really hope it doesn't swing in a very extreme way, I really appreciate how this industry now is starting to really take mental health and emotional health very seriously.
They actually do take it.
Yeah.
And consider it as a real issue.
Yeah.
Because I think that I don't know if they know exactly what to do yet.
Yeah.
But they are on the road to considering. And that's huge because I think any industry, but especially an industry where you are delving into the human experience and psyche and all of that.
Oh my God.
You can't not take it seriously.
Right.
Because somebody like Rachel who keeps getting cast, but it's breaking her down.
Yeah.
you can even look at Marilyn Monroe that way.
Oh my
to
God.
a certain extent.
Yep.
But Judy Garland and what they did with her as a child in order to keep her going as far as a machine, and what that did to deteriorate her.
Ooh.
I mean, there's podcasts out here
Mm-hmm.
about the mental health of now adults who are child actors and what they're dealing with now.
I picked up an old acting book from college, Uta Hagen's Respect for Acting.
Oh.
And I read the first 40 pages of it and then put it down and I went, thank God we're not thinking that anymore. Because I come to the chapter on substitution. And a lot of actors adhere to this, and sometimes I'll actually kind of guide people through this. Like, I've never been in a prison camp, and I don't know how to feel about that. Like,
right?
Okay, you know,
good.
Okay, good. I'm glad that has never happened to you. And the book is saying like you have to draw on personal experience to some degree, you know.
To tap into that understanding.
Yeah, I've never been Othello. Well, thank God, I've never been Othello and been so jealous that I want to kill my wife. Right? But you might have been like, I can't believe that kid in second grade always got picked first to give his presentation, and mine was just as good, if not better. So you have a feeling where you've been incredibly jealous, and you can apply that. But there were things she was saying, like, you have to draw from personal experience, and you have to draw from things that you've gone through and you've lived through. And there was one paragraph, Jenny, and it was like 4 lines long. It's like, but don't use anything they haven't quite gotten over yet. This is not a time for therapy.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
So, that really shouldn't be used. And I'm like, you don't know what people feel they've gotten over, haven't gotten over. It's so hard to make that adjustment.
There are things in my life I don't want to have to pull from.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't have the severe mental health breakdown issues that some others do. And I don't have severe trauma.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fortunate in a lot of my life experiences. I have certain things. We all do. And I've played some pretty hard characters.
Yeah.
You have too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you have to draw on something. But if you draw on something that is so damaging
and raw.
Yeah. But even if you think you're over it, that's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It's dangerous. So dangerous.
And it's that kind of attitude that people are like, well, he is a son of a bitch, but God, he's selling a lot of tickets, and I think everybody will get over it.
That is the hardest question I think of all, especially in an industry where you are pretending.
Yes. Yeah.
And playing in some ways. And separating the man from myth and man from reality.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
I mean, I do.
That's hard because there's still there's things that I still want to be able to enjoy.
Yep.
And it's really hard to separate from the things I've learned and know about someone.
Yep.
And I'm like,
yes.
Can't I still enjoy that? I don't know.
Yeah. I struggle with that a lot too. I'm going to end with this though. Because I think it's a bright shining sign that those are no longer the days. And this is a story. I
agree.
This is an urban legend from like 20 years ago. And I've heard it confirmed and I've heard it, said, nah, that never really happened. On the set of filming Three Kings. The Mark Wahlberg, Ice Cube, and George Clooney got so fed up with director David O. Russell mistreating people, yelling at them, threatening them, that he got into a fist fight with him and knocked his ass out.
And in some ways, you're like, finally. Whether that's true or not, I mean, there comes a point.
Yeah.
And the celebration of talent over rotten personal behavior needs to be examined, period.
Yep.
It does. It needs to be examined, and it needs to not be shoved under a rug and ignored and quietly not.
Right.
Just whispered about,
right.
Instead of being like, no, that's not okay.
That's not okay.
It's not okay.
I mean, even for Christian Bale to actually survive his tirade that got recorded and everybody heard it. I mean, he came,
Oh, yeah.
Like.
He came out on the other side.
Right.
Ish.
Well, I think my dogs are done hearing us talk about Rex Harrison. Yeah.
We get
Yeah,
it.
I know.
Dennis,
Okay,
we get
Charles, yes. But yeah, what an unbelievable rat bastard.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. What did I tell you? Oh, Rex Harrison was truly a rat bastard. At least he gave us some incredible and undeniably good performances. And is that enough to absolve someone in the eyes of the public? I'll leave it to you to decide. I want to thank Jenni Reed once again for being a phenomenal contributor to this show, and I can't wait for you all to hear the next episode, which will be the recorded footage from the live in-person episode at the Community College of Denver. As for this episode, though, I'm signing off. This has been another episode of Euripides Eumenides, a theater history podcast. Another episode will be in your ears in another 2 weeks, and I will see you at intermission.